Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up, everybody?
What up, homies?
The new banner, we added our homie Jaws D.
Represent. He's not here
Boys.
today, but
He's no,
represent.
Il n'est pas dans la maison.
No.
Should have added this when he was actually here.
I know. I meant to do it earlier too. I meant to update it ever since Chris. Once again, for those of you who don't know, Chris Nicholson was nice enough to design that for us. As for our 250th, he did one of the crew, and then added Jaws D. And then it was just like, yeah, I gotta add that in, and then I didn't, and I apologize. I meant to for a long time, but I just didn't have a chance to. And now it's there, and now it is representing. I'll show it again. It's representing the whole crew. Jaws D, who takes unfortunately very long breaks from doing the show with us, but he's a very busy man, and we understand that. So we just appreciate that he
show it again.
Hold on.
Team effort.
So for those of you who are listening, make sure you tune in. If you're listening to this later, or if you're listening to the podcast at another time and you can't see the image, we have a new image for our startup banner where we have Jaws D, Merc with a mouth, Skinny, myself, and Toby. And yeah, man, it's.
I feel like his face takes up more real estate than mine in this photo, though, and I'm here more often. So we need to do a little shit.
You'll have to measure like the millimeters of distance in between the different segments. I don't know.
I think it's the photos that were chosen. The photo they chose was more of a zoomed in photo of my face, right?
Yes,
so
yeah.
Should have been a little bit more sort of zoomed out, but it's all good. I'm just kidding.
I feel like I should have green lights because I'm wearing the Book of Boba Fett hat. Let me throw some green on there. Actually, with the blue on my walls, it just makes
it horrible.
Bright. Oh, whoa. Okay, no. We're going to talk about that in a second. Moon Knight versus Batman. We saw the trailer for Moon Knight. I did a quick... I saw it. As soon as it came out, I was just like, I have to do a very quick reaction video. It came out at 10, and at 10:15, I had already recorded the reaction video. I was just like, I got to do this. I got to jump on. Guys, Moon Knight. Skinny's not here, which is unfortunate because I feel like he would have a lot to say, but...
What I like, and I think it just so happens to coincide for when we did That's Canon, is I really liked the story that we read. For those who don't know, we did a podcast called That's Canon, pure comic
the first
book review.
episode.
Yeah. So you could look at that, and we did that review, and I was like, he has depth. I finally saw Moon Knight a little bit more, you know what I mean? So I was like, man, that's a good vibe for that character. That's what makes him different, right? So I was watching the trailer, I'm like, how are they going to convince me they're not going to fuck that up? And then I see the trailer, I'm like, Thank you. No, that convinces me so far that you're not going to fuck it up.
Yeah, they kept it dark. It looks like it's its own thing, like outside of the MCU almost.
Yeah,
it definitely feels separate from it in the sense that like if this is them trying to set the table for like darker, more R-rated takes, I like it.
But before we even say R-rated. This is PG-13, and it still works as PG-13. Like, I feel like a lot of people think PG-13 can't be enough for these things, but we've seen that they can make it enough. Like, we've seen The Dark Knight is PG-13. Yeah. We've seen a lot of movies be PG-13. And as much as I like Logan for what it is, I think they could have made Logan and done PG-13.
Well, the problem with that specific character that you're talking about is like, it's just because to have Wolverine by physics, there has to be blood. You know what I mean with what he does. So
sure, but
all the other characters, there's easy ways to do that, to get around it.
If anything, for me though, it comes down to the cinematography and the director being like, okay, show him slashing the guy's arm off and cut away, and that way you don't have to show the blood, but you showed him still slash a guy's arm off. Because in Nolan's Batman, The Dark Knight, a guy got blown up with a bomb inside his chest. I didn't see it.
Was Logan R-rated?
Logan's R-rated,
and
Batman, the Dark Knight is not R-rated.
But
I think if you ask me, half a guy's face burns off, a bomb blown up in a guy's chest, stabbing someone through the hand with a pencil, like there's a lot of really aggressive violence in The Dark Knight that did I need to see the blood to get the point of what was happening? Not really. It wouldn't have really made that much of a difference in those scenes. With Logan, I mean, it was great that we got to go that far. We got to see that last fight. He gets thrown onto a branch. He's bleeding out. We see him and the other guy really fighting. We see blood everywhere. But you could have done it and still not shown as much blood. And I'm pretty sure that movie would have been really solid still.
Yeah. What are the criterias for PG-13? Because I feel like ratings are arbitrary. Once you start getting over the PG-13 line, it's more down to like curse words and just how much blood you can show. But you can probably still show limbs getting cut off.
Yeah.
I would assume, right? Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't expect it to not be any darker. I mean, gosh, RoboCop was probably PG-13 when we were growing up, right?
But,
so...
in The Dark Knight, when he breaks the pool stick and he says there can only be one and he tosses it to the ground, don't those guys, doesn't one of them stab the other one with it like almost immediately? I don't remember that.
I don't remember that scene as well. Yeah.
But I mean, I'll say this though, in a PG-13 movie, if I'm going to throw a broken pool stick into the middle of two guys and tell them fight till the death, that's pretty aggressive as a scene.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to just how much gore they can show at the end of the day, but it can still be dark. So I don't really care about the rating at this point. It's not like it's PG straight up, right?
Exactly.
So
I think like, sorry, go ahead. Dave.
No, so I was going to say the only thing that sucks about some characters, and I could list a few, one obviously being the two we're talking about, Deadpool, even the boys. I'm surprised how much the boys have gotten away with.
That's a rated R show though.
It is rated. I didn't realize. I thought it was actually.
That's like,
are you kidding?
Characters,
the sex scenes alone.
That's true. What am I saying? But I'm sorry. What I'm going to say is that some characters, it's like you get when you see rated R, you just know that the person had the creative freedom to do whatever he wanted to properly represent. Because sometimes some characters, you could tell a great story, but there's going to be that one moment where it's like, it'd be nice to have some blood here. Like, you know what I mean?
But you're saying that now, but I feel like there are scenes you've watched where there hasn't been blood, and you probably didn't think that at the time.
Exactly. Like PG-13 literally doesn't mean there won't be blood or violence. It just means like parental guidance is like strongly advised with this, right?
I honestly I really think, because that was one of the big debates when the Batman trailer came out, that people were just like, when not even just the trailer, sorry, when the rating came out that it was PG-13, there was a whole thing and it was trending on Twitter that rated R. And I was just like, I don't understand you guys. Every movie you've seen so far in the superhero sphere of the MCU has been PG-13, and 99% of the movies from DC, I think every movie from DC has been PG-13. I don't think DC has done a rated R. Has DC done a rated R movie for any DC property? I can't think of any right now.
No Batmans.
No Batman. No Supermans.
No Wonder Womans.
I think Watchmen, right?
Yeah,
maybe
that would be
Watchmen. Maybe
this
Joker.
Hellboy, if you count like subsidiaries and stuff, wasn't one of the Hellboy? No, Hellboys weren't rated R. They're PG, right?
And I don't really care to call that DC, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's still a subset, man. It's still owned.
Yeah, like rated R. Yeah, I would. The only one that comes to mind is Watchmen. Outside of that, I don't think very many others were rated R. Maybe Joker. I don't know what was the rating for Joker. The
interesting.
That would be
I guess that is DC. You're right. That's fair. I feel like that's probably rated R.
But yeah, I would think so. And that's probably it. V for Vendetta is on the Vertigo, right? So maybe that was rated R too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. That's pretty much it. I don't know.
Kick-Ass is under what is
Kick-Ass? Is Image.
Image, which is Marvel, kind of.
Yeah.
No,
subsidiary wise.
Oh no, it's separate. Wait, who's the one that's under? It's Icon that's under Marvel.
Yeah.
Icon is the one that's under.
There you go.
Yeah.
Deadpool is the bar to meet at this point, and Logan.
Yeah. And that's the thing for me. Like when I see these people freaking out, and I'm just like, guys, we saw Killmonger shoot his girlfriend dead, chase Claw, and then shoot Claw dead. PG-13. We saw Ultron slice off Claw's arm the first time he meets him. PG-13. Like when you think of all the PG-13 13 scenes, in all these movies, and then you think about what the Batman's going to be.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing the Batman or even.
I really think people are just associating rated R with like blood and gore.
Yes.
Not realizing that, like, take that out and it still doesn't mean it's not going to be dark. That's it. That's really it. Yeah. That's the only difference. And like the ability to swear as much as you want.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like rated R. That's what you get. You can say the C word, you know, or, you know, anyway, that's pretty much it.
Wild.
Logan.
Yeah. Okay.
But back to the trailer though.
Yeah.
What did you guys were thinking of Moon Knight though? Like I said what I thought, but then we went on this amazing tangent.
Yeah,
I loved every single moment of that trailer, and I like that they showed us 3 different personalities within that trailer, maybe even 4. We saw Steven.
Yeah.
Mark was mentioned.
Yeah. Well,
or potentially shown, because you know when he's like in bed and we accept he's wearing something different. I don't know if that's from the same scene.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We saw Mr. Knight. A glimpse of Mr. Knight, because he at one point he's on a bus or a train and he has white gloves and a white suit on. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So and then obviously we saw Moon Knight, which, man, the way the suit mummifies. Oh
yeah, that was dope.
Oh, that was beautiful.
I'll say this: I didn't like the suit in pictures, but in the trailer I did.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Just the way, it was almost symbiotic. It felt like a symbiote.
Yes, it felt. I almost said it, and I wasn't going to, but I'm glad you said it. It almost felt like a better symbiote shot than when we see Hardy turn into Venom.
Kind of, I would say.
Boy.
I would
say the way it sort of materializes and takes over. It feels very much more organic. Than the way Venom kind of comes across. I
could tell Marvel Studios versus Sony. I'm just saying.
Shots fired. Ryan's creating shots fired. He's creating
early. It's early.
He's not creating it.
He's creating it live.
It's early.
We're bringing this into the world, and this is what's happening. We're going to see what's going to happen on social media in the next few days.
I will say real quick though, R.I.P. to Gaspard Ulliel, who was cast in Moon Knight and is going to be in the upcoming season. Unfortunately, he passed away in a ski accident today at the age of 37, right before the series is to launch, which is quite sad.
That's rough, man. That's rough.
For those of you,
career launcher kind of franchise. He's supposed to play a kind of a main villain too, right? Midnight Man.
Yeah.
Well, that's who he's gonna. That was gonna be my question. Who's he gonna play?
Yeah,
Midnight Man. Who's like a jewel thief / martial artist who can kind of hold his own against Moon Knight. So, it's it's tough.
Sad, man. Ski accident, and it's crazy that he passed, because when I read how he passed, it made me think of how Tom Holland was saying as soon as he wrapped Spider-Man, one of the first thing he did was like go on. He did some crazy thing that he's not allowed to do when he's filming, because when they're filming, they have these contracts that say they can't put themselves in any dangerous situations, stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as the movie finished filming, he wanted to really do something. So he went off and did something, I don't know, let's say skydiving. I don't know what it actually was. And then it makes you think when these guys do these things, and not that skiing is that aggressive or dangerous, but even skiing is something that's often on the list of things you can't do when you're filming one of these movies, because
I think for sure.
So
it's really sad that he passed.
There's franchises and movies that are banking on you as a star, so they do have to put those stipulations in the contract. Same thing with athletes too, on some level. There's certain things they can't do outside of the sport, because you get injured outside of the sport, there goes your contract. Man, that's tough. That sucks. But hopefully, his legacy will live on, and one of our favorite characters coming to life. So
I'm excited for this show. I think, like we were saying, first off, one of the things that people have been really enjoying is the poster. I don't know if you guys have seen the poster, but people have been saying it's the best Disney Plus series poster to date. I think it's very simple. It's just his fist holding his the
crescent moon thing.
Weapon that he carries.
I saw that, but I didn't think anything special about it.
I it's simple, and I just think it looks sharp. I don't think it looks better than WandaVision's poster, but I guess people are really excited about this, so they're just going to start throwing accolades at it.
I was going to say, like, are we really basing anything about shows about posters of the show? Like,
oh yeah,
really.
People like to do that. People,
but like, we don't. I know a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say we don't give. Dude, honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that this trailer looks genuinely well done, I would be like, this show is not going to be as good as we think. But so far in the trailer, it does look very well done. Oscar Isaac looks on point. The graphics look on point. The action looks on point. Everything that leaked that we saw before, and now that we see a clean HD version of it, looks crisp, looks good.
Oh, yeah.
The action is smooth. The scenes, the interesting interactions,
and it looks. I know they said Doctor Strange would be the first like horror entry into the MCU, but since this is coming out before that, this looks much more horrifying and scary than Doctor Strange looks to me at this point. When he's being chased into the elevator by Khonshu, and then it turns into the old lady. I was like, what?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And then you're just like, did it change into the old lady, or is it that he's seeing and that's what's going to be the great thing about the show. We're going to get to find out, is this man's mental state as bad as he's, as the comic has always depicted it to be.
But the thing that's going to be weird about this is like, there's a chance that this show would be like his longest run, his solo run. You know what I mean?
No.
Like he's had like, how long has his run? How long has any one of his runs been? He hasn't had like
comic
that
book
was like
runs?
years and years and years long. Like any type of continuity. If this show is successful, it could out.
No, I don't think so.
He's currently written about him.
He's had enough comic books, and a lot of the times the comic books pick up from different points in his life.
Yeah,
like one of the one we read with Lemire is picking up after he's in a mental institution, which is something from earlier. So I could see them working it, and also the other thing for Disney Plus series, I don't want them to last 3-4 seasons. I actually
I don't think you need that.
Yeah, like I like the idea that these are like long movies that connect to the MCU, and then that's it. I don't want 4 seasons of Captain America and Bucky. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. I think maybe like
disappointments with that for you in the long term.
Like,
I think 2 seasons maybe is enough, and then tie it into the movies in some way, and then maybe spin off other characters into their own show. We don't need more than like.
After Wanda shows up in Doctor Strange, how many more seasons of Wanda do you want?
I know I'm not saying Wanda, but I could imagine Loki. Depending on how it's structured, I already think it could easily be something that lasts more than a few seasons.
I would say put Loki, Loki with the time travel and everything that he's doing, great. Once you get into the Kang stuff though, and Kang starts to show up, and Loki, like, what's the story going to be for Loki moving forward if it's not related to Thor?
Well, I mean, at this point, he has many avenues. And at this point, this specific Loki could either go for something Thor related, but he could also stay TVA related. And if it's TVA related,
I don't think they're going to continue the TVA all that much. I feel like they use the TVA to set up Kang a lot. And I'm concerned that it's not going to be a long-term character in the overarching plans for the MCU. That's at least when I watch that first season of the show and I see what the show's doing and the implications of like the power of the TVA is greater than the power of greater than the Infinity Stones. They carry the stones around like it's a joke. We all talked about that important moment in the show where the stones are made to be a joke. And for me, the reason I see that is because we got to the core of what is powerful in that. Kang.
Yeah.
And after you introduce Kang, how much more of the TVA as a story are you going to have? I mean, don't get me wrong. You can have the characters, and maybe Loki might interact with those characters. Could you give us multiple more seasons of Loki interacting with those characters? And
I don't think honestly, I don't think Marvel has it in mind to like have long running seasons of these shows. They're just to really introduce like, you know how we always say like, oh, they introduce a character in this movie and we never get to really see their background before they come in. I feel like that's all this is. We always talk about table setting. We're just getting like an introduction to these characters, who they are, how they are, and then we might get another season, but like that's it. Now they're in the universe, and then maybe they'll spin off another character. America Chavez, for example, I think it might have done them a little bit more. They probably should have done a show with her first before bringing her in. She was actually supposed to be in Spider-Man initially, right? You knew that, right? Yeah. So America, it's a little tidbit. So we got Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, right?
Yeah.
That was definitely fan service because they weren't sure. They tried initially. They weren't sure if they were ever going to get Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in the movie.
Yeah.
So they had a backup plan to actually have America Chavez. Why? Because she can open portals to different dimensions.
Yeah.
Or different multiverses, and would have been the one to really pull in characters instead of Ned. But because they were able to actually pull in Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, they figured, you know what, it'd be too much to even have America Chavez in the same movie. So let's actually change the story a little bit and bring her back into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where it would actually make more sense. Because then, if you notice in the trailers, it looks like Wanda's going after America and Doctor Strange and Wanda kind of defending her in some scenes. So Wanda might be actually looking to grab America Chavez to open a portal into a different dimension so she can grab her sons. Exactly. Yeah. I think that's where Wanda's going to be a villain. She'll be like Jean Grey was in Dark Phoenix.
I mean, I definitely could see them playing up the idea that Wanda, now that she has those kids, now that she knows that there are multiverses, she can she's definitely going to be like, well, I want my kids back.
Exactly. And she can't open portals to different, multiverses. So this is where America Chavez comes in. And I think she's just done so much dark magic that it's just consumed her a little bit. You'll notice there's a scene where her nail, her
supposed to be the villain. I heard they were trying to rework it so she's less of a villain, though.
I don't see how you could, though. I don't see why you would even change that. Why not? Like, she could have a redemption.
I agree with you. I'm just telling you the rumor that I heard that the reshoots were because they realized they made Wanda too dark, like almost irredeemable is what
they could tone that back a little bit. But I mean, Jean Grey killed Mystique in Dark Phoenix, and she was still redeemable, sort of, right at the end of it. So, like, I'm sure you can find a way to figure it out.
I mean, that's the only villain, though. And like, if you kill a villain, the vibe is kind of like, I mean, you shouldn't kill, but that person was evil asshole.
She wasn't a villain when the timeline changed at the end of Days of Future Past. Mystique was now a good, right? She was on the X-Men side, so. That's you have to remember it wasn't the same Mystique that we know.
One of the things I hated the most about those movies was the idea that Mystique was a good guy. It's like, guys, I hate when they cast actors that they're too scared to make bad guys. Like The Rock.
Her star power was so high at the time, right? So they were trying everything to accommodate her.
Yeah.
So,
but Black Adam being played by The Rock, I hate it because it means that he definitely will not go as bad as he's supposed to. Like Black Adam is a murderous, narcissistic asshole, and you're going to have The Rock play him, and you're going to tone it down so much. I don't expect for a second that The Rock will go full evil in this movie. I don't care what anyone says.
No.
They're not going to do that with The Rock.
I don't think so.
Too much of a goody-goody.
I expect him not to be. Also, I think someone just asked us, before we move up the topic of Moon Knight, what his powers are. He's got a lot. Yeah.
I mean, Moon Knight is Olympics level athlete, right?
He's like a master marksman. He's like a weapons master, interrogation expert, expert pilot.
Yeah.
Like, he's got so much because he has so many different personalities and a lot of
And I was going to say the reason, and we didn't actually discuss it, but the reason people compare him to Batman is because everything that Batman does, he does
better.
But there's the aspect of him is that it's compartmentalized into personas.
Yes.
Whereas Batman, it's all one complete person that can do anything. Mark is like, Jake Lockley, the taxi driver, is like a great locksmith and stuff like that. Steven is an actor.
Mark Spector has most of the abilities, though, in my opinion. He's almost, because he's a military trained, Black Ops. Yeah, exactly.
But like Steven,
and I think
is an actor who has really good connections, and he's kind of like the Bruce Wayne one in the sense that he has the money and he has the connections, and disappears for long periods of time, and it's like, oh, Steven just went off on another trip or something, and which is ridiculous.
And then I think he also has, like, he can't really die because he made a pact with Khonshu, and Khonshu, like, has brought him back to life on, like, a few different occasions. So I actually think he does have some immortality there. There's quite a few things. He's resistant to pain and torture. For example,
I'm pulling out the Marvel Encyclopedia to see exactly what they say.
What the powers are. He's actually that would probably be the best. I'm doing this off of memory right now.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see the character done well. And I really think I feel like because Disney is more open to doing these characters. Moon Knight. All right. Let's read from the book, children. Moon Knight, a mercenary left for dead in the Egyptian desert. Mark Spector was found by followers of the Egyptian god Khonshu. They carried Spector to their temple and presented him to their god, who saved his life, at the same time bestowing upon him superhuman powers. Returning to the U.S. with a statue of Khonshu, Mark adopted the role of a crime fighter, calling himself the Moon Knight, and assuming two more alter egos, the millionaire Stephen Grant and taxi driver Jake Lockley. Aided by his pilot friend Frenchie and his lover Marlene Al-Raoun, Mark fought crime for many years, battling against Midnight Man, Black Spectre, and along Spider-Man and the Punisher. But the strain of keeping up his various identities caught up with Mark. Eventually, exhaustion set in, and he was persuaded to retire his alter ego and sell the Khonshu statue. Oh, that's weird. They actually don't say what his powers are. His strength. Powers. His strength waxes and wanes with the moon. He bears weapons given to him by the Egyptian god Khonshu: a scarab-throwing dart, a golden ankh, the glow that glows when danger is near, and an ivory boomerang. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they say.
Weaponry.
Okay, because I mean, we've seen more in the comic book, so I don't know why most of those things aren't listed. But I guess that's more of a person that, because, like, I guess those aren't powers, right?
What we listed? Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. Khonshu gave him superpowers in the sense that I would say he's a little below a super soldier.
But
and
when there's a full moon, that's when he's the strongest.
Yes,
that's like the big thing. Yeah. So cool. So, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited. I can't believe we have to wait till March for this.
Hey, man, we have a lot coming in March, and I'm like, they're really bulking up March to be an interesting month content-wise. But you know what we've been saying. So we're going to remind people, because what is it? January, February, March, April, May. So we're going to see a lot of content in March, a lot of content in June. A lot of content comes in September, and a lot of content comes in December. Why? Because that's the end of the quarters. So they always bulk up at the end of the quarters.
All of them do. That's just how TV and that's not even TV. That's how business works.
Yeah. You want you want to try and make, like, if you didn't have a good quarter, you want to backload the quarter so that everything else is just gravy. So, they have Book of Boba Fett going on right now. They have I don't know, who else is coming out? Paramount Plus is going to have a whole bunch of stuff coming out in the next few months. Like, everyone's going to be throwing out stuff, but you're going to see March is going to be where they really start hitting it out of the park, because they want everyone. WB has Batman. That's big.
So, you know what? Speaking of content, and we talked about Doctor Strange before, did you see the potential list of characters that could appear in Doctor Strange?
But
Multiverse of Madness.
The real one, or the tweet of the super long list that has like multiple Doctor Stranges, multiple Wongs, like different actors?
Oh, no, I didn't see that at all.
So you saw like an actual list.
I saw an actual list, and then there's also like the rumored potential based on the gravity of the situation. There's no way, people are saying there's no way a version of these characters don't show up because of how it's happened in the comic book. So the Illuminati, for example, right? A multiverse version of the Illuminati based on because I mean that's the whole point of that team, right?
Yeah, the comic book version, right? Where it's
exactly.
So
and they're
But,
saying
that would be.
They're saying that it will be Professor X.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna get Patrick Stewart's Professor X in this in some shape or form.
See, okay, this is the thing. That's one rumor, and then there's other rumors where people have pictures of Sophie Turner and what's his name, homeboy, the other guy that played Xavier,
James McAvoy.
McAvoy, yeah, and they have pictures of them recently with the hairstyles of the X-Men characters.
He has a bald head. I saw that as well.
So that's my thing. It's like you guys.
I wouldn't mind that. I don't know if this would be an introduction to Namor in some way because he was part of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
I feel if you were able to get a bunch of characters at different times, because if it's a multiverse of madness, right?
Yeah.
They should say this is a team. The Illuminati is like a team, and you're getting different versions of each person on the team from a different realm, and that's how they build it with like the Marvel, like using like Fox characters and things like that.
For sure.
I think they should include Namor in it. And then the takeaway is now we have a Namor that's established, and then we also have an establishment that like, hey, Professor X or whoever else on the team, I don't know the team in the back of my head.
Yeah,
they exist. We just haven't seen them yet. Like, there's ways to like do this. I think that you're like you can make it very interesting.
Like,
and
like Tony's dead. He's part of the Illuminati,
but he could be on it because he could be one that's alive.
But they said, there was a weird rumor about that. Like we're gonna get a different version of Tony.
The Tom Cruise one,
I was about to say.
Which I don't. I don't honestly. If that happens, I will lose my mind.
I have a friend who has been telling me since day one that he's like, "Yo, Tom Cruise needs to be in an MCU film," and I'm like, "No, I don't."
He take away too much.
Oh my god!
You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
his movies are about him. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, look, he's 60. Let him do his movies. Let him.
Also, how much is he getting paid per film? Can they even afford him?
Yo,
Disney. Like,
I mean,
okay,
Disney money, and you're asking if they can afford him?
Here's the thing:
is it worth what they're gonna pay for whatever appearance he's gonna have?
I was just gonna say, if I'm Disney and I'm making a movie about Doctor Strange in a multiverse, and I'm gonna bring in another old Charles Xavier. I'm going to introduce Mr. Fantastic. I'm going to have America Chavez. I'm going to have this character. I'm going to have that character. Am I also going to drop how many millions of dollars to get Tom Cruise to do a cameo?
Everybody, yes, because that's the equivalent of clickbait in the movie just for people who want to go see it.
Yeah, but it's going to get spoiled in 2 seconds.
It doesn't matter. People are going to want to see it because they're going to be like, oh, I saw a scene. Is that the only thing he does? They're going to do that for sure.
You think people are going to go?
That is movie clickbait, bro.
Do you think anyone's going to go see the movie just for him?
I guarantee you there would be some Tom Cruise fan out there that would go see that movie without, if he wasn't in the movie, wouldn't go see it? Yes. There are Tom Cruise fans that don't like Marvel that would go see a Marvel movie because he's in it.
I don't know. You know what? I don't know if Tom Cruise is a draw for comic book fans.
Not comic book fans. You know what I mean? For Tom Cruise fans, bro. He has a big background.
I don't see Tom
my defense is Angelina Jolie.
Well, yeah, what about Angelina Jolie?
It's
you think some people saw Eternals for Angelina Jolie?
I guarantee you it.
Nah.
Okay, but are you talking about perverts, or are you talking about
maybe some perverts, but yes.
Yeah, because
I don't agree. I don't agree on that one. That one, I don't know if she was a draw for Eternals.
It's to use star power for sure. If anything,
they didn't need to. The thing is, with that character,
how is this?
With that character, they didn't need to. It could have been anyone else. She played it very well. Like, I loved her character, but I think an actor, there was an actress out there that could have played the same role and played it just as well.
Easy.
And I don't think Angelina brought more money to the box office.
They did not need her in that role whatsoever.
For such an obscure set of characters. Yeah.
She was excellent, but did not need her. You could have cast anybody else. And that's one of the other things that Marvel needs to start thinking about. We are making movies that are so popular, we can cast anyone in these roles and people will come and see the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel has the opportunity to launch careers and are still just using the same actors over and over and over. And that's the part.
How many Marvel characters has Oscar Isaacs played now? Although again, he looks fantastic
Disney,
in this role, right?
Yeah. Oh no, true. He played Apocalypse in X-Men.
He was,
yeah.
And
Apocalypse, this Star Wars.
Which now, if they do Marvel if they do a multiverse crossover, he's playing Miguel in the Spider-Verse. He's the voice.
There you go. Spider 2099, right?
Yeah.
But
so, that's it.
Anyway.
If you start crossing over and you bring in the X-Men, are you going to have a different actor play Apocalypse now? Because he's already played Apocalypse.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to, unless you do unless you do another multiverse thing and like it's like Apocalypse versus Moon Knight.
But what about Cable and Thanos? Right?
Yeah.
We have anyway. Yeah. I agree. We do need different.
Yeah, but Cable
actors.
and Thanos, that's an easy way to go around that because
because it's CGI.
Yeah,
but still,
that's easy.
It's just the idea that you have these actors, but ultimately our point, Dave, and I think you would agree, if you could get other actors to play these characters, get other actors.
I always say get the right actor. It doesn't matter if they're new or old, just get the right actor.
Sure, but I'm saying you're never going to find the right actor if you don't give the new ones a chance. If I'm always using the same actors, like Angelina Jolie, again, great job. Selma Hayek, again, great job. I'm trying to think who else. The homeboy that played Icarus, great job. But you're all like, you're from Game of Thrones. You've been a movie star. Selma's been a movie star since she was like 20. And Angelina Jolie's is the daughter of Jon Voight and has been in movies since she was a child. Do we need
Kenton? Apocalypse was not CGI. Apocalypse was pure makeup.
It was pure makeup.
Pure makeup. Unfortunately, he looked like
except for those. There was some moments when they were fighting that he did grow and stuff.
I'm sure there are touch ups with CGI, but it was mostly makeup for the most part.
Yeah.
Can I just sidestep for 2 seconds? I have someone on my Telegram, the chat app,
right,
who's pretending to be John Boyega.
Really?
Yeah. And at one point, I wrote at John Boyega to someone and sent it, and then it actually brought up the account, and I accidentally clicked on it, and I was just like, and the person even has a picture of John Boyega, so I just wrote, "Hey John, how you doing?" And they just wrote back now, a month later, being like, "Hey, how's it going? Happy New Year's. I hope you're doing well." I love that people are so weird because, first of all,
just pretending to be someone.
Even if it is John Boyega, weird. Why are you?
He's not replying.
I was about to say, bro.
That's more the thing to me. It's just like John Boyega is not replying to random messages on a texting chat.
He must be really bored in the pandemic to reply. I guess at this point, that's my only. Oh,
I love how bored the pandemic has made people that we're all just doing the most random shit out there. Ugh, God.
Going back to Illuminati, I want to see Namor and Reed Richards. If they can do those two in some way, great introduction to the team.
Yeah. Black Panther, because I know no, they're not going to bring back.
Nah. Do
you guys think they're going to recast him? And this is
they will. They will.
Yeah, me too. I think they have to.
Yeah. I think they have to because unfortunately he did too good of a job and made the character. Don't get me wrong, he did an amazing performance and obviously all the flowers to him and what he did and his importance. But like he made the character even more important because it made it have even more eyes on the character.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to because he's also like he's important. He's not a.
You can't sleep Black Panther, guys. I'm
no
sorry.
Offense, he's not Morph, like you could get away with not bringing in Morph. And I love Morph.
Are you saying they're going to recast T'Challa?
Yeah. They have to recast T'Challa.
Yeah.
I don't see how you...
Honestly, I'm so curious how this next one is going to go. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom in my head how you write him out of the next Black Panther.
Especially since the movie is Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like the movie is Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
The actor who played T'Challa Black Panther has passed. Yeah. And now you're making the sequel without Black Panther. Like imagine you're trying to make a Batman movie without Batman, which you could, because he has so many secondary characters. But I'm talking like you would
but
need
that's when you
like,
call it like Red Hood or Robin something
but that's
else.
it. You would need Michael Keaton's Batman because he at least established like, or George Clooney, Val Kilmer, like you would need that run of Batman who at least established that there was a Robin, there was a Batgirl, as opposed to
or even in the comic books. Was there ever someone else that was Black Panther outside of T'Challa and his dad?
Shuri,
right?
had the mantle. Yeah, she took over at one point.
Okay, I know. I've heard rumblings of M'Baku being Black Panther.
Yes, that's the big rumor I was hearing.
So
it would be appropriate for the movie version for what's going on because of the scenario.
But, well, I mean, you guys, you gave yourselves a chance when you created the multiverse. Just give us the Black Panther from another multiverse that looks different, and you're done. Like you don't.
That's true.
And people won't even. I wouldn't even be mad because you've set the groundwork for why you would have someone else do this. Collapse universes together, Secret War style. Like I don't know what you want to do, but you have all the options in the world to do it.
You could even do it as simple as someone interacting with him and be like, I haven't seen you in a long time. You look a little different. And whoever the new actor is turns around and says, oh yeah, I got a haircut. Or like you can do it as easy as that.
That's cheesy. Like that's
so cheesy. But I get what you're saying.
I thought about it in 2 seconds. I bet a writer could do a good job.
That's what.
Some time.
I get what you're saying. 100%. Yeah. Something to make sense of it. But yeah, clearly we missed T'Challa.
Yeah, we do. Guys, I know some of you have watched it, and I feel like we have to discuss it. If we're going to talk about DC and how much they fuck up all the time, I think we do have to give them their flowers when they do a pretty decent job with the character. And we got to give them the flowers for Peacemaker because that shit's
I like how hesitant you are to even say it
because I don't trust DC.
It's not that he's hesitant. It's just so against Brian's natural nature of order of things that his body's having difficulty processing the words he's trying to combine.
Yeah, it's true. He's not wrong. I've been so negative about DC for so long that when I have to say something positive about them, my whole being is just like, are you sure you want to go on this ledge? Because they failed you before, buddy. They failed you before.
I loved it.
Right.
And I'm also in the same in the same boat as you when it comes to DC. 3 episodes. They usually start out hot on the shows that we do like, that we've said we've liked, which is maybe a handful at this point. They start out hot and then they kind of fizzle out and they kind of lose the reason why they started to begin with. So I hope that doesn't happen with this down the line.
Agreed.
But it's made me, I didn't like Peacemaker in Suicide Squad.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
And it's made me like the character because now I understand his motivation, who he actually is, how stupid he really is.
Yeah.
like legit. And then understanding like his relationship with his father and how he could have turned out the way he did, how he's oblivious to social norms, just the way he navigates through life, wearing his costume all the time, doesn't really care about his secret identity, right? Like he is just a bumbling buffoon.
Yo, dude,
that somehow is an expert's marksman.
Yeah, when they tell him to come to the dinner and he shows up in the costume and they're all like, what are you doing? Why are you in your costume? We're at a diner.
Which, honestly, now that I realize that's the character, and then I see that John Cena's been doing interviews in the costume.
Yes.
It makes sense to me now. I'm like, I didn't really get it. I'm like, I was like, oh, John Cena. He's like, I just kind of like brushed it aside. As it didn't mean anything. But I truly think he's actually living. Yeah, he's living the character.
Yeah,
which makes sense to me, and honestly, he plays it very well. This was like a role made for him.
Well, so I didn't watch any of it yet, so I'm happy you guys didn't say. I was gonna ask, don't spoil too much. I think what you said was great. You could say whatever else you want, really, but I got a question for you because I am one to not really enjoy seeing John Cena on screen that much. Not a big fan of the Cena
because of wrestling or just in general.
I've not necessarily loved. I never loved all of his acting stuff. I admit there is one or two movies of his that I haven't seen that I actually do want to see to try to turn my, like he made a movie recently it's like about a couple that go on their honeymoon, and he's another couple
with Lil Rel. I thought that was funny.
That's a movie I want.
He's gotten better.
He's
gotten better over time. Trust me, this is not an unpopular opinion. What you're saying, like, I think everyone across the board feels like when he first showed up in movies, and you're like, it's kind of awkward. This big bumbling guy trying
John
to act,
Cena, just this bulky guy playing a layman. But sometimes
he's found his lane, I think.
So what
he's found like where he fits in.
So you're saying it is palpable. He's like, I will not be annoyed, because the thing, one of the reasons why I'm not sure if I'd be able to watch this show is because I feel like after I won't be able to actually watch it because of being too annoyed by his presence.
Okay, I'll tell you right now.
Well, I mean, if you dislike John Cena,
I'll tell you right now. In light of his "you can't see me" thing, I literally don't see John Cena when I see Peacemaker.
Oh, perfect. So he does good acting. If he does good acting, that's great.
Yeah.
Because
he's not John Cena.
Exactly, right? Because there's certain roles, like just like how The Rock initially started, he wasn't necessarily, I mean, mind you, The Rock still does. The Rock kind of tried to go far into start being artistic.
The Rock is The Rock in every role.
He went back to it because he's like, I can't.
John Cena's a better actor than The Rock, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
Okay.
Actually, no. And you know what? I always say too, Batista's the best of all three.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Batista's but John Cena is exponentially growing, and it's crazy to me to see that, actually.
But if you ask me, out of the wrestlers who are acting, who the best actor is, I would say Batista, then I would say Cena, then I would say The Rock.
Agreed.
And some people would get mad at you for saying that. But if you're being objective about the skill of acting, about the people's ability to lose themselves in the characters, Batista has played multiple different characters and loses himself in each one. Like when he's in Blade 2049, when they have that that short film, and you watch that, I do not see Batista at all. When you see him in that Bond movie, I do not see Batista. When I saw him in Dune. You don't see Batista. I forgot he's in Dune. I do not see Batista.
Yeah, he's definitely excellent. So yeah, you trust me. I couldn't believe, like, I was expecting to hate this from the moment I turned it on. I saw the intro. I was like, okay. Oh, the intro, but I started to like the intro after the first episode. I was like, this all makes sense. They're living in a world of like bumbling foolishness. So this intro makes perfect sense.
Dude, it sucks. So you haven't watched any of it, Dave?
No, and I know I'm going to be behind because I know, I feel like the girlfriend's going to want to watch this, and she hasn't seen Suicide Squad yet, so I already have to backtrack.
She doesn't need. You don't need to see.
Yeah, you really don't, because they recap the movie at the beginning of the first episode, and then they start the episode.
Yeah,
like you'd be watching the movie to watch the movie for your enjoyment, but for the purposes of understanding Peacemaker as a character, you do not have to watch the movie. Because it's just another mission for him.
Okay,
yeah, exactly. I would say still watch it because he does reference things in certain scenes that makes you go, oh, wow, I can't believe he actually feels this way about what happened.
Yeah.
Great. Because in the movie, he just feels cold-blooded at some point. And that's, that's all. You've seen the movie, right? You've seen Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Yeah. When he kills
I enjoyed
Flag,
it very
right? When spoiler alert to everyone, when he kills Rick Flag, like you could tell he was like, I'm doing the mission. I don't care about who I kill and blah, blah, blah to get peace and all those things. And then those things start to sort of unravel in a show. And you kind of get a deeper look into his character and his motives. So it's worth watching. 100%.
Interesting.
Yeah, I look forward. Honestly, the way that third episode ended, I'm like, why couldn't they just release everything at once? Because I really wanted to keep watching it. That's how good it was. And what else?
We just got Jay Grizz just posted a comment. I don't know. I haven't seen this before, but if it's true, it'd be interesting. They turned him down for Shazam, but Peacemaker worked out for him, luckily.
For Shazam? He wanted to play Shazam?
Damn.
I could see him wanting to
I could have imagined him.
Version.
Yeah, he would have. Ironically, I think he would have done a really good job because of what I've seen him do in wrestling. I think he would have been an amazing version of that.
Yeah, especially because the whole idea that Shazam is a kid, like it's a child in an adult's body. So it makes sense that Cena, who acts pretty childish sometimes, hell, even Peacemaker's kind of childish.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I could see why he addition for that role because because of the whole like being a child, and again it was The Rock that was potentially going to play Black Adam, so like I could see how Zach Levi probably was like, oh shit, I'm going to lose this role to John Cena because like they might want to go this angle, but I think ultimately Zach's personality matched Shazam a bit more. Maybe not his build, but his personality I think matched.
He had to put stuffing in the suit. That's definitely not.
That's tough. that's like there's no way he could have bulked. There's no way he could have bulked up in time for a character like Shazam. Shazam's huge.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll say this: the guy who plays Homelander, he's also wearing a padded suit.
Yes, but
I didn't realize that until like way into the season, and then I was just like, oh snap, this dude is not actually that built. And then I saw an interview with him when I was just like, oh, it's just a skinny dude who's wearing it. So
you can get away with that on TV shows, I think. That's why Shazam, it was really pronounced like in a movie when you're the main character and you're seen in every scene almost, right? It versus a TV show where you're sometimes appearing, fighting certain scenes, and it's different characters. What else did he audition for? Now I'm curious. Deadpool.
I don't know. John
Cena auditioned to play Deadpool.
To play Deadpool?
Wait, but to play
why
Deadpool,
was there an audition?
There
was no audition for Deadpool.
It must have been before the Wolverine movie when he was still relatively new in wrestling.
Oh, Cable.
Yeah,
he wanted to play Cable.
Oh,
okay. See, that makes sense because I was gonna ask Cable, but then you said Deadpool. Like my head went like
physique wise, yes.
No, he would not be able to pull out. Yes,
physique, not personality.
Yeah.
I could see physique, not personality.
No, that's where you know that whole saying about like if it's meant for you, it'll come as long as you keep working. Like I think he got rejected for the right reasons.
Yes.
Like this was the role. I don't need to see anyone else playing Peacemaker because that helmet, his costume, the whole look,
that helmet.
It just fits. It's crazy to me. It really does.
But, Dave, I'm about to spoil something, so if you don't want to hear it, I would recommend taking a moment away. Okay.
Yeah, he's gone.
Waller's daughter. Did you figure that out? Because I figured it out. I figured it out from the trailers.
I was confused initially as to why this, like, she didn't seem to have any particular skills, but then no, I didn't see it coming. But once I saw the conversation happening, I was like, oh, why is this person? And then it was revealed. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
When I saw the trailer, I was just like, I feel like this is gonna end up being Waller's daughter. Like I had a weird feeling that it's like Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad connection. I was just like, black girl. I was hoping it wasn't gonna be that obvious. Because you don't have to have that the only black girl on the team is Waller's daughter. All the black people don't have to be related, like we always joke. But I felt that I felt that the idea was Waller's daughter is going to be watching the other people who betrayed her in the Suicide Squad. So
interesting. Yeah, I like that actress. I think Danielle Brooks is her name or something. She's British, right? No, she was in a British show I used to watch.
Which one?
Okay. Hold on.
The one where they're killing vampires? Because then I think you're talking about a different actress. It's her and a white girl. It's her and a white girl killing vampires.
Oh my god! Am I talking about someone else?
Yes, that's a different actress.
They look alike.
They do look alike. Yes,
I thought it was her the whole time.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
I did. And notice you didn't tell me, but I thought of that person because they do look alike.
What was that show? It lasted one season.
Yes, it was one season. It was on Netflix. It was a BBC. It was a British show originally. They had a deal with Netflix. And then because Netflix didn't re-up for the second season, the UK network decided not to make the second season. And that's why it got canceled.
Man, yeah. That was I liked that show.
Yeah, it was a good show. I don't remember the name. That British actress was also, the actress you're talking about was also in Enola Holmes on Netflix.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, if I can find her name in Enola Holmes in IMDb, I'll be able to tell you who she was because she's the black girl.
Wow.
She's the black girl that's teaching martial arts. And her name is Susan Wokoma, is who I think you were thinking of.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so true. Dang.
Yes.
The show is called Crazy Head.
Yeah, that's it. I couldn't remember that.
Wow.
But yeah, Susan Wokoma, great. Okay. I think she's a really good actress. She's really funny. Yeah. If you guys are looking for, because sometimes this is something I do on a weekend when I'm just like by myself building Lego or whatever, I'll watch movies by one actor. Like I'll just watch a movie after another by the same actor just to see how, you know, their skills throughout different projects. And she's someone that I do like her stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, no. Okay, well. All right. I'll go to the show with a different lens now.
But yeah, well, I guess I won't say it again because Dave's back. But yeah, I figured that part out. And I hopefully when Dave watches it, he'll figure it out too.
Yeah, and the plot it's very similar to the movie in the sense like that's not even spoiling anything. But I don't even think that that's what matters. I really think it's just the ensemble and their interactions with each other that makes the show. They just fit perfectly together. And I think Peacemaker and Leota is her name on the show, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're like a great pair. I think they work really well together. Vigilante, I love Vigilante.
Oh my God,
he reminds me of a dumber Black Noir. In a sense, the way he
the outfits and just like being
everything.
A complete idiot all the time.
There's a scene. So he's very like he's the opposite of Peacemaker when it comes to identity, like secret identity. He's very like no one should ever see my face. He has his mask on at all times. And there's
like even Peacemaker doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I'm not even going to spoil the rest. Let's leave it at that.
I was shocked that he didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, wait.
That's great.
You don't know who this guy is? And then like, anyways, you're right. Because if I say anything else, it'll spoil
exactly. It. I feel myself wanting to say more.
Yeah,
and I know Dave hasn't seen it. And I don't want to spoil it too much. But Dave, get on that.
I'll get on it. All
right.
What other shows did we see? Did you want to talk
about? You know what
I watched on Amazon Prime. There's a show called Wolf Like Me.
Olaf and Isla Fisher.
Olaf, Josh Gad.
Yeah, thank you. I can never remember his name. Never.
That's so funny.
Josh
Gad and Isla Fisher.
Yeah.
Interesting pairing.
I saw the trailer.
It's good. My only gripe is that it's so short.
Oh,
it's 6 episodes, and each episode is like 30 minutes long.
Oh, I hate that. If you're gonna do 30 minutes, you have to do 12. You can't do 30-minute episodes and 6. Even the Brits barely do that. They do like 8 episodes for their 30-minute shows.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but it really goes by really fast. Like really fast. I couldn't believe it was over when it was done. Yeah.
Well, it's like the show Flack for me. Oh no, you're right. Dude, some of the British shows do 30 minutes, 6 episodes only. I stand corrected because I just thought of a few. But the show Flack, which is another prime British type series with Anna Paquin, it's only 6 episodes, but thankfully those are like 35 to 40 minutes. But yeah, man, this you gotta give us. You can't do 30 minutes in 6 episodes. It just seems cruel because
it does. And I feel like there's a lot more. I don't know what the budget is or timing or anything like that, but I felt like the way the certain stories they tell within each episode, I'd be like, I want to know. I want to give me a flashback. I want to see how that happened, sort of, right? So that's really my only gripe, but very well acted. If you don't know the premise of the show going in initially, you're gonna because I didn't watch a trailer. I was like, you know what? Let me just dive in.
Yeah.
But then the title, I was like, okay, something to do with Wolf. But then it starts to reveal itself as to like what's happening, and then it becomes something else entirely. And then you kind of get caught up in the family dynamic with Josh Gad and his daughter. I mean, the premise is that like his wife died of cancer after the daughter was shortly like 4 years. At 4 years old, the wife died, but she was diagnosed when the baby was born. So she tried to hang on for as long as she could, but then she passed. And then it's been like the daughter and him the whole time. And they've had the daughter's had a really hard time. She's like 11, hard time adjusting. Yeah, hard time adjusting. They're not really getting along, but they are. The daughter is just like depressed. She's seeing a psychiatrist. There's a whole like story there, and him trying to like make things perfect for her so she can kind of get over her anxiety issues and stuff like that. And then boom, one day they encounter Isla Fisher's character, and things just go haywire from there. So
yeah,
it's really good. It's really good. I liked it.
I love her as an actress because she always throws a wrench into anything she's in. Remember in
My
Wedding
biggest
Crashers?
gripe? Yes. So here's the thing.
I love
it. Her character makes sense in Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, she's great.
Right? She's awesome. In this, the backstory for her character, that's like the only nitpick I have.
Oh, okay.
So she plays a character who's American.
Oh,
from Chicago.
Oh.
And the story takes place in Australia, in Adelaide. Right? This whole show takes place in Australia.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, okay, she's from Chicago. He's American as well, right? But he moved over here because his wife is Australian. So that makes sense. They were in America, then the wife wanted to go back home. He moved back with her. They had their kid there. She was married at some point, and her husband went on a trip to Europe. And then after the trip to Europe, she moved to Australia. But outside of coming from Chicago, there's no reason why she has to be American.
Yeah.
Like at all. She's already Australian. I'm like, and I can hear her accent come through in certain scenes. And I'm like, why did you have to make her American? Is she trying to practice? Like in the show, you know what I mean? Like when she says record, it's like record. You know, like I can hear.
Yeah.
I can hear it. I'm like, why? Just make her Australian. It's fine. Like, it doesn't matter here.
Honestly, I think that just has to do with the fact that they feel that Americans will be more accepting of American characters.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that I feel they do that sometimes. It's just like, oh, we like American characters more, so let's just make that character American. That's honestly that's all I can.
There was no other reason, really. I was thinking about it while watching the show. I'm like, okay, we know she's from Chicago, but like H doesn't sound like she's from Chicago. And there's there was nothing else.
Yeah.
But anyway, the whole show is great. Wolf Like Me, watch it, Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, it's free.
I'll mention one last thing. Yellowjackets just finished, second highest viewed show for Showtime.
How is that?
It's good. It's really good. I just finished watching the last episode.
What's that about?
Adding it to my list.
Yellowjacket is about the 1996 soccer team from a high school that got to nationals, and on their way to nationals on a plane, the plane crashes in Ontario, in the wilderness of Ontario, and the team has to try and survive. And then it's also slashed with, you see 4 of them who did survive and are now living their lives, and they're having
it's like a flash forward, flashback.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's
like
cool.
The last
but is this like a Lord of the Flies type thing?
Ish.
Okay.
Kind of, but I mean, one of the teachers survived, so there is still an adult presence who's being a voice of reason a lot of times. Like there's times where they do stuff and the teacher's just like, you can't do that. Like, I'm the adult here. And obviously they're in the wilderness and they've been there for like a lot of time at this point. So, at one point, one girl's like, what are you going to do about it, coach? And he doesn't do anything, but at least his voice of reason has others thinking like, maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe, us teenagers being stuck in the wilderness is making us not think straight. And he's still holding on a little bit because he's still, so
cool.
Worth watching though.
It's on my list
Juliette Lewis, Christina Ricci, and Melanie. What's the other girl's name? Melanie something.
Linsky. She was in 2.5 Men.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of articles.
2.5 Men again?
She played the crazy neighbor that was obsessed with Charlie.
Oh, that girl. Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of articles recently about how when she got the role, people were on the crew were making comments like, "Oh, so what are you gonna do? Are you gonna get a trainer?" Because her character ends up having an affair and has a lot of scenes of being like intimate and stuff like that, and supposedly
on the set they were telling her to lose weight.
Someone was implying that she needed to lose weight or get more fit. And then
don't hire her for the role then.
Well, I don't think it was the producers. I think it was other people. Whether or not the producers were talking through other people. But then Juliette Lewis supposedly sent a nasty letter to the producers telling them like, yo, this isn't cool. Make sure people stop doing this because we're not about that. And then she was also she was also saying like, I wasn't planning to lose weight. I wanted people to see this woman as I am having an affair, and like, this is a woman. Like, what are you guys trying?
She's always also like looked like that.
She looks good. She looks great in the show.
There's no. This is so stupid. It's so dumb.
And that's super quick. But that's one of the craziest things about Hollywood, that she's not Hollywood thin. So they were trying to convince her to get Hollywood thin, even though she's not big. She's not a big woman. You watch it and you're just like, you guys tried to convince this woman to lose weight for what?
That's crazy talk. That's crazy. Archive 81, Netflix show. It's good.
Devin from Nerdstock was telling me to watch that today.
Yeah, I'm torn a bit just because it's very slow in certain areas. It drags a little bit for me, but it's watchable. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Kind of reminds me of like Fringe in certain aspects, but not anywhere near Fringe level.
Okay, because you said Fringe, and I was just like, I want to watch this now because I love it.
It reminds me of that because it has this whole multi-dimensional potential thing going on.
Yeah,
with like some ghost thing happening. Yeah, like watch it. I'm recommending it, but I do feel like it's slow in certain areas.
Okay,
it could use a little bit more beefing up.
Yeah,
in certain areas. Yeah.
Yo, I got to rewatch the show Counterpart. That's another one. J.K. Simmons.
Counterpart.
J.K. Simmons.
Dude, that's like Fringe.
Yeah,
I started watching it. I fell off after like episode 2 or 3.
Right, same. Because it's slow to build.
Slow. There you go.
Yeah,
that's why.
Slow to build. It's slow to build. But when you said Fringe, it made me think of like, oh, that makes me think of Counterparts.
That's so true. I forgot about that. I'm gonna write that down too. Yeah. So many shows. Yellow.
Dave, you have.
See, this show is not just for everyone else listening. It's for us too.
Yeah. You gotta watch.
We learn from each other.
Dave, I see you wrote down La Matrix.
Yeah, I actually want to learn. So, did you guys see it? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah,
I saw it.
Okay, so there's something I need to be taught about the Matrix. 'Cause after watching, there's still 2 aspects I don't understand.
Okay.
So when Matrix, when Neo is re-entered into the Matrix, he on a subconscious level builds Morpheus. Is that how the like? I was like, why is he even created? How is that even like him and Anderson? Or sorry, that's the agent's name, right? Smith. Both Smith, those guys. I'm like, I don't understand how this like. Now that that's clear for Morpheus, I'm like, I guess if you're gonna revive Neo, it might make sense that his memory would, on a subconscious level, create Morpheus. But how does Smith exist, or is he supposed to be just like he's a virus that we can't get rid of, and he's been dormant because you're here? He's here. Like, I don't understand.
Okay, wait. So you're asking about the new Smith, who's like his partner that works with him?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, exactly.
So that's Smith. So the analyst now, because it's not the architect, it's the analyst. Yeah, recreated the Matrix and had to go to the higher ups to get permission to do certain things when he rebuilt it. Mm-hmm. So when he rebuilt it, he got permission to rebuild the physical forms of Neo and the physical form of Trinity, and he used them as some kind of power source. He connected them back into the system because when they're in the system, they put out more power. But Smith and all that stuff, those people still exist. Like, because that's the whole thing about the Matrix, right? The Matrix, all the content in the Matrix is like, imagine the concept of matter doesn't disappear in the universe. It has to go somewhere else. It has to be reused in some way. So think of every character in the Matrix as matter that even if you delete them, they have to be brought back in some form as data or something. So Mr. Smith was used, but the old code for Smith was controlled until Neo breaks out again, at which point the other Smith also breaks out.
But at the end of, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't get to rewatch all of the Matrixes before I watched this, but technically at the end of Matrix 3, doesn't Neo destroy essentially the code of Anderson?
No,
Smith.
Remember, Smith tries to take over Neo the first time, and Neo fights it. And then the last time at the end of the movie, Neo realizes oh, I have to let him become a part of me to create the cycle, to finish the loop, because Neo's the last one. Every other bot or whatever in the system has been taken over by, I guess, like you were saying, the Smith virus, and Neo accepts the virus into himself, reabsorbing the code back into the system, and then the whole thing resets. But Smith's not dead. He's just
like the
reset.
the analyst is the one that's like recreated this new Matrix.
Yeah.
With the bond between Neo and Trinity being the thing that keeps the Matrix stable. He realized, wow, it's not Neo, it's the love between the two of them that actually keeps the stability in the Matrix. And the reason why he keeps Smith around is kind of like the case of like an antivirus program that went rogue. It's just kind of to keep him in check.
Yeah.
So then I'll say there's some aspects of this movie that were good. I liked like how they brought them back, like why they brought them back. I like the logic behind the battery fact that like when we get heat stuff, it makes it better and all that stuff. I like that they evolved with some of the machines and some of the machines were defective. I was like, okay, that makes sense because over time there's no way, like you just whittle away the human race at that point. That's the only way to have done it was by doing this. And if you didn't do that, it would ruin everything else. I admit I liked Neil Patrick Harris in the role.
You liked Neil Patrick Harris?
I liked him in the role. To be quite honest. I didn't mind him. I didn't think he was. I didn't think it was a bad performance. But overall, I thought it was a waste and a bit of a failure because I actually only had one expectation, and they didn't meet the one and only thing that I wanted, which was do a fight scene that was as good or if not better than some of the fight scenes from the first movies, and they fucking failed.
I think that's where this movie really kind of falls below the bar. Is in the CGI. It's in like a lot of the effects, especially when the analyst does the bullet time thing with Neo. And just the way it just looks so shoddy. Like I couldn't believe this is why. Like it just looked horrible.
Can I throw a theory out?
Yeah.
Could I throw out the theory that the analyst could never do the bullet time as well as Neo, and it's intentionally supposed to look choppy? I
think that's a cop out for bad production.
Yeah, wait. Let me preface it by saying I don't think this at all is accurate. I'm just throwing the theory out because I agree with you. It didn't look as good. I don't think they did it justice, but I'm just throwing that theory out because I remember watching the movie and thinking maybe that's why it's not as good.
You want
like the idea is the analyst doesn't know how to do it as well.
I have to reject that because when you build a car, right, you have to, if you're in building off of the previous year or something, you have that skeleton there, which he had the whole skeleton there.
Neo's the one that did bullet time.
No, the agents did it as well. Neo stopped bullets.
Oh, that's fair.
Neo stopped bullets. Agents do bullet time as well.
Yeah, they do. They do.
That's the reason why they couldn't, because they shoot at them and they just be all, you know.
Was it the agents or was it just Smith that did that?
It was agents in general.
No, another agent does. Because remember when Trinity's fighting the other agent on the roof, he starts just ducking as she's shooting blank in his face. Okay.
Interesting.
Fair, Dave. Like, fair. You have that, and like even I was talking to my buddy Mike from Squared Idea, and he's like, what bothers me is that you already established how that was. It looked really cool and it was awesome. And that's the thing you decide to really change based off of the previous movies. And that's the worst.
Yeah.
And then that's when the discussion of like the fight scenes kind of sucked. I felt every fight scene was almost the exact same as the last fight scene in regards to what I was seeing.
Dude, the lighting, the choice of location for fight scenes. The
Weaponry.
Best fight scenes were the recreation of the first movie fight scenes.
Yes, at the beginning.
Yeah.
Those were so good.
Those were the best fight scenes. Everything else just missed the mark.
When I started watching the movie and they were showing that, and I was just like, are you guys
Am I watching the right movie?
I was just like, are you just recreating the first movie?
And then clicked.
And then they start to explain it's them watching it, and I was just like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, yo, this is gonna be great.
But
like
that's
this
another
is the
question
movie
I have for you guys. In that moment, they're rewatching something, and
that's a module.
But don't they get like attacked by the agents in that one?
Yes. So they're
how does that make sense?
They're in a
So
module.
they're yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
They're in a module that Neo created, or sorry, and Mr. Anderson created. And in that module is a looping story that they get into, and because they got into it, they cause the loop to fracture, which is what causes, like, they free Morpheus and they start being able to
because that was one thing I wasn't understanding. If it was a module they controlled, I didn't understand how.
Yeah, they didn't control it.
Why would the Matrix bother them if it was one of their own? That's what
they become part of the code, right? That's the risk you take by going into that code. Like, you become part of it. You can watch it from afar, but there's only a certain distance before the actual, like, the NPCs start noticing that you're like what's it called?
An observer,
invading force of some sort.
Yeah, you're like a virus.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Which is a lot of the thing is viruses and the idea of viruses.
Yeah. What did you think about the architect? Sorry, he is the new architect. The analyst making Neo like believe the Matrix was a game that he created.
I thought that was great.
I thought. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say I thought it was like, it bothered me a little bit at first, but I thought it was good because it easily would explain, like, yeah, dude, you were just a guy who has a fractured mind, and you were so involved in the building of this game that you started to, like, that thin line between genius and insanity, like the idea that, like,
which we see very often.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, some of the most intelligent, some of the greatest geniuses of our times often are on the edge of sanity because their minds work in such a different way. And it's the idea that you created such a vast world for people to explore, and then you got lost in the world you created yourself. And I was just like, wow, that's
such a believable thing too, as like as a human being to be like, yeah, like, duh, look around you, like,
he used the human condition against itself, basically, is what the architect or whatever it's called now, which I thought was great. Like, at first I was like, are they going to really do this? But it was the little things that they did with it that I was like, all right, I'm good with this. You guys did it well. You didn't make me like hate this movie for the first half an hour.
I will say the one major sticking point for me and the one problem that I had was, and I'm sorry to say this because it's not a judgment on the actors, but all the actors as secondary cast were all of the actors from Sense8. Like, all of them. And it was so distracting to me to see the entire cast from Sense8 playing different roles.
No, you're
right. Sense8 is a show that the Wachowskis did on Netflix that is about, like, 8 people born on the same day share a hive mind, and
Wait,
you've
never seen Sense8?
I don't think he's seen it. No.
Wow.
Why would I ask?
I feel like we've talked. I feel like we've talked about it on the show.
We have talked about it on the show. I just don't know if he's seen it. But and that's the thing that really threw me, because other than Neo, Trinity, Niobe, and the girl, the new captain of the ship, Colleen from Bugs, thank you. Yeah. Other than those 4 actors, almost every other, the neologist, the other Latin girl, the guy that is their coder, who is always has the thing over his eye, the guy that is the head of security for Niobe, the guy behind the bar at the cafe, like, and dude, for me, that threw me off so much, because imagine you're watching. So, Dave, name your favorite show.
Venture Brothers?
Live action, Dave. For the purposes of this, Dave.
I don't know. Big Bang Theory? I don't know.
Sure. Okay. So let's say the guy who created Big Bang Theory now makes another show with other people as stars, but all the actors from Big Bang Theory, Penny, the 4 main ones, the girlfriends, all of them play random different roles in the show.
So you're talking about
all
a
the time.
Tarantino film?
No, because Tarantino switches it up at least enough, or Nolan switches it up at least enough that there's other lead actors and different people. I'm talking the Wachowskis literally used every cast member from a show that they got canceled
and
and
put them in major roles, pretty much.
Yeah, put them on the ship as main characters with Neo and Trinity, and I was just like, this is throwing me off so much.
It's like that. What's that? That Black Mirror episode where that girl from How I Met Your Mother is in the Star Trek episode. But if you imagine that the whole cast were every character from the How I Met Your Mother episode.
Exactly. Yes, that exactly. That Black Mirror episode at the end when she's on the ship and then she gets connected to the internet, but everyone on the ship is Sheldon and this person and that person playing different secondary roles to her, even though she was on the show with them.
Yeah.
Like it would be so weird watching it because you'd be like, oh, why are you and you and you and you and you there? So that was my only thing. The movie was fun. The action was okay. The fight scenes weren't great. The ending was.
What'd you think about the mirror going into the Matrix via mirrors and stuff?
I'm happy that they expanded that it wasn't just the landline.
Yeah.
Well, nobody does landlines anymore, right? So it did definitely like age with the time a little bit there.
It was all mirrors and the doors that the keymaster gave them keys to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. I thought it weird that it was so simple of them flowing into those doors. More specifically, the agent who was Morpheus, like when he went into the doors and whatnot, I'm like, shouldn't you be like at least surprised either A, that you're in this aspect, or that B, they are there, or unless it's just been happening this long since, because it's been 60 years, right? So in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe it's happened enough that they're all used to the door system, but
no, but he also was going through something in that scene, right? He was like in a daze the whole time, right?
Yeah.
That's why I don't think he acknowledged exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
He was like, it's almost like your mind is opening up and like so much is happening in your head at the same time that
he was like high. He was like giggling. I was like, what are they doing?
I really liked, because we're talking about the mirrors, I really liked when you saw the aspect of Neo when he was like, because remember in the first one he touches the mirror and then eventually the whole mirror goes around his whole body and he goes in. I liked in this one, it's like he put his head in the mirror because he wasn't scared, and then that triggered the architect or whatever his name is, analyst to be like, oh shit, things are going down. And you saw that you could see that the mirror part was like kind of like,
he's like, Anderson, what are you doing in my house? It's like, wait, what?
So like, you kind of see it as like that journey. You could really see it's like going into the mirror, having the mirror absorbed, or where it's like it's really like you're removed from the reality. Like it's kind of similar to when we saw the reverse snap with Yelena? Hawkeye there, and Yelena, I liked seeing that aspect.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I get the whole like there was a whole meta feel throughout the whole thing, and like they're calling out like movie industries and like
the
so whole meta. It's crazy. It's like if we didn't make this movie, then they would actually like give it to someone else to make it, and then it loses the true essence of the original creator's message. And like it was very meta.
Yeah,
like,
they're like literally having conversations about
Warner
doing.
Brothers and why. And I was like, wait, what is happening?
Yeah, that was wild. That was
yeah. But I understood what they were trying to do, but I think the reason why this didn't hit with people is just because people were so in love with the action in the previous Matrix that this just did not. It was a good story, just the action completely missed the mark.
Because you want 2 sequels though?
No.
Okay,
absolutely not. Because for me, because you know what it is that I don't find like when someone does a movie like this, you try and like say, did they at least do something better in any of the last ones? Like when you saw The Force Awakens, the one thing I could say, I was like, I liked that I could see the final product of the planet. I will say at least that was one thing that was never done in the other movies, and I got to see something that was like cool. At least you added. This one was like,
do you mean the finished murderous
Death Star? Yes. I was like, cool. At least you know how it's supposed to be.
You were always hoping to see
No, I wasn't hoping, but you gave me something that was more than the other ones. You know what I mean?
Okay, I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
This story didn't outdo any of the other stories. The action didn't do any of the other. You didn't do anything per se, lack of a better term, cooler
or revolutionary, for lack of a better word. It wasn't better than Revolutions.
you know. No.
Do you think this video game is going to be hot though? That Unreal machine, like all, remember that they were showing all those trailers for this new video game that's based on the new Matrix, and it's just like, look, and they had like Neo and Trinity walking through white rooms again, and then they were like trying to trick you, like, can you tell which one is real? It's like, yeah, bitch, I can tell that this is the CGI and this is not you, Keanu. I'm sorry, I'm not stupid. I'm not, I remember the first time they did it, I watched the video and I was just like, do they think
was
they're
it Matrix Awakens or Force?
Something like
right?
that. I don't. So yeah, I
know you said Force Awakens, but I feel like it's something along those lines. But yeah, no, I don't think so.
This is a new video game, and it's not just playing the video game of the Matrix.
Yeah, so they were promoting that there's a new game using the Unreal Engine to build a very detailed world, like super detailed, more detailed than anything they'd ever done in a game before. And they're trying to show like this is essentially the Matrix now. Like we are here, we are at the point where you might not be able to tell the difference between reality and fiction. And then they showed like Neo walking, and then like his mirror self walks, and it's kind of like they're trying to imply like, can you even tell the difference? And it's just like, yes, I 100%
it's even worse. Like that scene wasn't that bad. It's even worse the next scene or two where it's like they're racing in a car.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, okay, I could tell like you're not real. We're not there yet, guys. I get what you're trying to do. It was a promo for the movie.
Yeah, and 100 Trinities are lined up, and you're like, yes, none of these are real. Even if you had the real Trinity in there, you didn't do a good enough job because they all look fake. Like, I don't know what you're trying to get away with here.
Here's the link, Dave. I just put it in our chat so you can see.
It was so funny.
I gotta see this.
It's funny. We have some geek news and rumors. We haven't played the theme in a minute, so let's play it for the people. You know you love it. You know you want to hear it. Geek news and rumors. What do we got? And I will say that Mike is right when he says this, that everyone is trying to cash in on nostalgia, and sometimes it just doesn't hit, and sometimes maybe don't do it.
Everyone in every industry, like music today, you know how many songs
did you see the stat? 82% of music consumed now is catalog versus new. 82%.
That doesn't surprise me. And the amount of sampling of songs that we know that are in popular songs today, I'm like, am I back in high school? Like every song is some not remix, but like it's just literally the same beat, and the same instrumental. They just change the drums. They put 808s, and or you put something else. Yeah.
Did your parents ever say it to you when you were a kid? Like, I know this song, like all the time. My parents used to always be like they'd hear Puff Daddy and they'd be like, have you heard the original? I'd be like, yeah, this is the original. And my parents are like, no, this is not the original. And then they would like tell me like, no, this is this song. And then I'm like,
are we turning into our parents? No,
dude,
that's what happens with age, sir.
But the thing that bothers me is it's not even that we're turning into our parents, is that the industry is lazy in creating new things. Like you're just reusing and resampling the same it's like, it's 22, 30 years of all just resampling and reusing stuff.
That is crazy. Yeah. You're right. It is slightly lazy.
Yeah,
slightly.
It's
Because I'm not against sampling. I love being able to take someone else's record and making something new with it, but don't reuse the same portion of the sample.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Change it up a little bit. Do something else.
Like, like Sir Mix-a-Lot used this part of the sample in the late 80s, early 90s, and it's 2020, and you're reusing the same part of the same sample to make your song so that people don't even know that it's a sample of something else. They think it's a sample of the Sir Mix-a-Lot song.
Right?
Nikki, no.
That's exactly.
That's a couple years ago.
You know what? But... Pitch it up, pitch it down, reverse it, add some filter, do something else. You know,
Yeah. But in Geek News and Rumors, page 25 of the Marvel Comics Secret War #8, featuring the first appearance in the symbiote suit on Spider-Man, sells for $3.3 million, almost as much as one of his comics sold for recently at $3.6 million. So you can imagine one page sold for the same price as almost an entire comic sold for. And I don't even understand.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, dude, one
like
page.
if it was the whole comic book, I could at least understand. But one page, like
one
technically,
page,
you ruined a comic for that.
But here's my thing: if someone owns the comic at this point, does that mean their comic is worth more than 3.3 million? Because
no,
if you're telling
it's worth less.
Yeah, now it doesn't have the one and only thing that you really wanted to see.
No, I'm not talking about that comic. I'm saying someone else has the same issue with the page in it. If I have the actual comic in good condition,
that would be
you're selling a page for 3.3. How much do I get for the comic?
I honestly, the sad thing is, I think only 5. You do not get that much more. You'd get more because of the fact that you have the whole issue, and I assume there's more physical pages with Spider-Man in the suit with it in it.
Right, but this is the first panel, right?
Yeah.
This is like the page with the first panel where he becomes
crazy
Venom's. Wow, that's nuts. 3 million for a page. Who are these people that just have money to throw away like this?
Freaking billionaires, bro.
Yeah. I actually didn't have much else for the news. There's a lot of stuff going on, but the only other thing that I had written down was Children of Blood and Bone film adaptation of the trilogy lands at Paramount with a fast track development. So I don't know if a lot of you guys know who that is, but the book was supposed to be adapted over at Lucasfilm, which is the thing that's kind of crazy, that it was the big thing that Lucasfilm announced at their Disney, the Disney meeting, like remember when they announced all the Phase 4 stuff? This was the part of the Lucasfilm section that was really big, that Children of Bone and Blood was going to be the next big project. And in the end, they're not even doing it now, which a lot of people are just like, then what's happening over at Lucasfilm then? If they're not doing this, what are they doing?
So because this project,
it's at Paramount now. But yeah,
Paramount beat out everyone else for this. Interesting.
Yeah, big bidding war supposedly. I'm shocked.
I guess they want it to be the next Hunger Games.
Yeah, pretty much.
Expecting it to be
okay. Yeah, it's magic. It's it's that teen drama type stuff, YA type stuff with the whole black girl magic thing that's happening, and I'm excited for it. I actually was hoping it was going to stay in development, but then I heard this and I was just like, this is good because Paramount's going to do and fast track it, and Paramount will Paramount's letting the original writer have more control, which is good. But I was just a little concerned. Something else I guess I can mention: the Rings of Power, Amazon Lord of the Rings series, finally has a name, announced that they are 1,000 years before the events of Lord of the Rings. So if people excited about that is also a piece of news.
They canceled the Game of Thrones prequels, right? After they spent so much money on them,
they canceled one, but HBO's making the other. HBO's still making one of them.
Crazy.
Whatever happened to that Avatar real life?
A live action Avatar series at Netflix is still in the works. The 2 original creators left Netflix to go back to Viacom to sign a deal to create Avatar Studios, which is going to make more Avatar-based content. I still think that Viacom CBS is trying to break Nickelodeon out of the Netflix deal so they can get the property back and make their own live action. But I haven't seen anybody say that.
Wait, is this the case of Netflix trying to do something with the property so that it doesn't? Oh no, then we're getting.
I've been trying to tell people that. I 100% think Netflix has this deal in place and is making this show, and they're going to mess up the name and the legacy of Avatar just to mess with Nickelodeon. Because when the original 2 creators left the show based on disagreements, creative disagreements, and I was just like, how is Netflix having creative disagreement with the people who created the damn property? They know the show, they made it. How are you having disagreements with them? Like, I would understand if you brought in another team and another team was just like, oh, we want to do this, and Netflix is like, no, stick to the original. But you have now the original creators, and Netflix is the one that's just like, this isn't what we want to do. So
Netflix,
those guys
don't be dumb. Don't.
I'm telling you. I'm worried.
We've seen it now, right? One season and done with quite a few things that we thought we liked on Netflix. So
everything. This is the last thing. This is gamer news. Microsoft is buying Activision Blizzard.
No way.
That's the big thing that I was trying to
for
remember.
like 60 billion or something.
68.7 billion is what I last saw.
Yeah. And honestly, the only thing that propelled Activision to that level was the pandemic, and it was Call of Duty.
Yep.
Everyone and their mom was on Call of Duty in 2020, 2021, and still going. Like it blew up in popularity, and they came out with a battle royale at the right time.
Yeah.
And honestly, might as well capitalize at this point. My only thing is like, what does that mean for people on the Sony side, like me, who have PlayStations, and PlayStation has exclusives, right? So does Xbox, but now Microsoft owns games from Activision that are on PlayStation as well, including Call of Duty. Like, what does that mean?
I would say if they're smart, they're gonna leave it because they make money.
100%. Why would you cancel out a whole? Matter of fact, I think.
They're definitely going to introduce exclusives for the Microsoft stuff.
It just means that Microsoft is going to officially be getting the best exclusives for those games.
Or first.
First or best. Because like,
first and
best. Yeah, because like, for example,
that sucks.
It's gonna happen, dude. Because like,
what is that exclusive? Because like, are we talking about weapons, especially a game of Call of Duty? Like when you're trying to sort of level up the playing field with different meta weapons, you can't have all the Xbox users have the better weapon and then PlayStation doesn't, and then you know what I mean.
But if I'm Microsoft,
different skins, right? You can give them different.
If I'm Microsoft, I am pushing you guys to buy my console now.
That's crazy talk.
Because same thing with the Spider-Man for the Sony, the Marvel Avengers game.
Yeah.
It's like I can put Spider-Man in my version, but you can't have him. And then people are just like, that's not fair. It's like, what do you mean? I own the right so I can do what I want.
So you got to converting. You getting.
I was not. No.
Just get the digital one. You don't need the disc one. Just get the digital one.
I also don't. I was never huge on Xbox. Their controllers were horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible controls. They've probably gotten better now. But
the second remote was one of the most comfortable remotes that I ever held.
Yeah, but like I also wasn't a big fan of their games on Xbox as well.
Oh no, they only had Halo.
They had Halo. Gears of War was actually not.
Gears of War was a good one as well.
Yeah, but there weren't that many. But now, Activision is a great property to own right now. So good on them. Good on them. Congrats to all the PC and Xbox players out there. Y'all about to get
it's about to get crazy. It's gonna get crazy, boys. That's the whole show. Second one done. Episode 279. We want to thank everyone who tuned in. We see a lot of comments. Devin, we see Mike K, we see Jay Grizz, we see Dan, we see Mark, we see Kenton, we see all y'all. We see all y'all guys tuning in. Lee J, sorry, Cray Prince. Guys, we always appreciate you guys tuning in. We know we didn't put up as many of your comments this week as we usually do. We had a lot to say, a lot to catch up on, but don't worry, we were there. We see them, we appreciate them, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back next week, y'all. So make sure you tune in. Don't forget, you can always tune in on YouTube or on Twitch, twitch.tv/Geektastic Cypher. Y'all know the deal. And that's the whole show, guys. Always a pleasure. Anything you want to tell the people?
No, stay safe, stay sane. Same as usual.
Yeah. Big facts, especially in this pandemic. At least we're not on lockdown anymore, folks. At least we are not on lockdown.
No more curfew for you guys, right? In Montreal?
No, curfew.
No more curfew, but it's basically still lockdown without a curfew.
There's like
there's nothing to do.
You're still not allowed to have indoor gatherings, all that stuff. It's still
Anyways, we'll talk about that next week. Guys, that's all. We out. Peace.
What a depressing note. Later, guys.
Fuck.